Republican strategist and co-chair of the Great America PAC supporting Donald Trump, Ed Rollins.
Thank you.
Ed, how does he put this to bed? Because, again, it continued to mushroom as the weekend wore on.
He has to quit talking about it. He should have basically at the beginning said, thank you to the parents of this wonderful young man who 12 years ago gave his life for his country, and move on. It's not one of the unfortunate things about Donald Trump is he's a top-of-mind argument, and he's very combative, and anybody who takes him on, he wants to go back at. This was just not a fight that he won. And he has to be very careful in the month of August, particularly where there's nothing else going on. And you don't want to spend 3 or 4 days dominating a subject that you can't win on. And I think to a certain extent, there are lots of things he could have gone after Hillary on. His focus has to be on Hillary Clinton, on the Obama record, and this will be 3 or 4 more years of Obama, and that's got to be his focus.
These don't even seem to be traps that the Democrats have set for him, that he creates these problems for himself. After, like, during the DNC last week, Ed, you had the issue about the DNC hack. And the narrative that the Democrats spun was making it about Russia. Russia did it, and they're trying to get Donald Trump elected, which was just absolutely ludicrous. It was about the hack and what was in the emails, but he, again, stepped in it and made a joke about Russia hacking Hillary Clinton's emails. It was a joke, but nonetheless, again, it dominated the news cycle.
It's hard to argue with someone that's had the success that he's had, but I've always basically said to candidates, and I've been doing this for 50 years, don't think out loud. Don't think out loud. Basically, if you have a plan for the week, have a plan for the day, here are the things I'm going to take on, here are the people I'm going to take on, here are the issues I'm going to take on, and don't get into rambling statements, because when you do, you always have thousands of reporters somewhere out there following you, and they're going to take things down and write them, and they're not going to write them the way you want them. So a discipline in this campaign in the next couple of weeks is going to be very, very important. He's got to build a campaign structure. He's in a very competitive race. She's going to have an extraordinary team. She's going to run the traditional campaign. He's not. Obviously, it's going to be a very close election. By the time we get the polls this week, it'll be pretty dead even. She'll move ahead a little bit because of the momentum. And at the end of the day, he can't be making mistakes.
I've been thinking about that. This is what I do. I sit around all weekend and think about what I'm going to ask Ed Rollins on Monday morning. So you have a weak candidate with a great campaign, and maybe a great candidate. So you have a weak candidate with a great campaign and a great candidate with a weak campaign. Which one dominates?
Well, so far, it's been Trump, and obviously, at the end of the day, her campaign will dig out every vote that they have. He's got to basically put a structure in there and play. He doesn't believe in that, but he has to have it. If you're going to win the Pennsylvanias, the Floridas, and the Ohios, which are the 3 keys to winning for him or for her, you got to go in there and find those voters and bring them out, and that takes a real structure.
Is he building that now? Is he building a get out the vote operation in Pennsylvania and elsewhere?
At least I can't coordinate because I'm basically the super PAC. Certainly what my super PAC wants to do, but equally as important, I think those things are happening. We're late. We need to get going. She's building on the Obama team that was one of the best in the business, and we need to basically duplicate that.
Can I add to that, though? Sources that I've talked to within the Trump organization say that they're going to use social media. That's their ground game, to answer your question, Harlan, is social media, not the physical ground game of back-in-the-day politics.
I don't think that
whether
works.
that's a good idea.
As somebody with a background in digital campaigning, you actually have to knock on doors. You actually have to get people out to vote. I mean, just tweeting and getting engagement on Facebook, it's not enough. It's not enough to actually get people
My parents would literally, you go and put people in vans and you drive them to the polls.
Exactly.
You have 3 tasks in any campaign. You find your voters, you communicate with your voters, you get them to the polls whenever the election day is. It's not one day anymore. It's sometimes months because of all the absentee ballots and everything. Social media is a fabulous tool that we've used extensively, but it's finding your voters. It doesn't force them to go to the polls. The Democrats will be knocking on the doors. Have you voted today? Come and get in the car. Here's a donut. Here's a cup of coffee. I'm going to get you to the polls. They're going to basically go into the church communities and what have you, and they're going to turn out their votes. They're going to get the bus drivers from Sundays, turn people out in record numbers, and I think that's what we have to be worried about, and we have to duplicate that.